The Trump campaign is like a mess right now. And it's in many ways, it's surprising. I mean, Trump's an idiot, so I get that he always figured I'm going to run against Biden. But the fact that his team didn't have a plan ready to go, knowing that Biden might step down, because you're right, it's been 19 days now of a campaign in utter disarray. Look, I actually think Tim Walz was a really, really good pick. And primarily because of this. Look, the Democratic Party has a problem. They've had this problem for years. And I say this as someone who's not a Democrat. The Democratic Party's become kind of elitist. They've become the party of wealthy college graduates, and Democrats have lost touch with regular working class Americans, white, black, and brown. That's what Tim Walz is. He's just a regular dude, a regular guy, nothing fancy about him. And you can put him into states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and he can talk to real, regular working class people. So I think that's a big, big help for the Democrats. Look, we're 18 days since Biden got out, 18, 19 days. All Trump and his people have been doing, well, all Trump's been doing is publicly crying since then. And he's been crying because look, he wanted to run against Biden. He was going to beat Joe Biden. And they never really thought through the possibility that Biden could step down. Trump doesn't have a clue as to how to go after Kamala Harris. And his people don't have a clue. And all of his media cheerleaders are just echoing what Trump has been saying, which is a lot of the ugly, divisive, racist, bigotry kind of crap. So they're in real trouble right now because they really don't know how to go after her. And when you think about it, and books will be written about this, like none of America wanted the Biden-Trump matchup. Two old guys, and Trump's old and crazy. Like nobody wanted that matchup. So whichever party realized that first and helped usher their bad guy or their candidate out was going to have an advantage. So Biden goes out, in comes Kamala Harris. Could have almost been anybody, somebody young who can breathe and actually campaign. We always underestimated the enthusiasm that would generate. If Trump wasn't the Republican nominee and a younger candidate had gotten in 5-6 months ago, you'd see a lot of enthusiasm too. But they're stuck with Trump because Trump really owns Republican voters. Generally all over the map, us moderates and us never Trumpers have a lot of different reasons for supporting who we're supporting. I'm generally in the camp that I was going to support whoever the Democratic nominee is. If Joe Biden were 151 years old, I'd still support him. A lot of never Trumpers are in that camp. Kamala Harris has a very left of center record. That's not my record. But I think she's grown and I think she will move. She's already moving to the center. I think most never Trumpers and moderates are going to come home over these next few weeks and support her because, look, the deal is the same. Trump's an existential threat to our democracy. He can't win, period. Here's what we know for certain. Donald Trump will never accept the result. He didn't in 2020. He won't in 2024. I mean, think about that for just a minute. That is, I don't know that you can attack our democracy more than that. Every 2 years we have an election, and we all have this silent agreement that we'll all work our asses off, but there'll be winners and losers, and we all accept the verdict. Donald Trump's the first guy who's come along in American history who has said, no, I won't accept it. And what's sad is most of his supporters are with him. So he's not going to accept the result, even if he loses in a landslide. There will be violence again. There will be unrest. This great country is extremely divided. No matter who wins in November, we're still going to be at each other's throats next year. And the jury's out as to whether this great experiment can keep it together. I think it'll be different. I don't think there'll be another January 6th. But I worry about a lot of mini revolts out there. Here's the other thing. So Trump won't accept the loss. Most of his voters won't accept it. But as maybe many of your listeners don't realize it because we're so damn big, we have 50 states. Every state runs their elections. So we have 50, really 50 elections in this country. And Donald Trump has put some of his people in charge of the elections process in many, many states. So you could see secretaries of states in each state, Trump people who don't accept the results and try to screw around with the results. So you could see even within our system, uh, a real struggle as to whether this result will be accepted. But either way, there will be unrest and violence. No doubt about that. You know, I used to do a lot of radio and I always had to watch my language when I did a lot of radio. So I can't say what I really want to say. Donald Trump screwed up when he picked Vance. He would admit that. All of his campaign people will admit that. Donald Trump picked JD Vance because Donald Trump is arrogant and he thought he had this election in the bag. Because again, remember, dummy, he thought he was running against Biden. If he could take it back, he would. If he had picked somebody like Nikki Haley, somebody like me who doesn't want Trump to win, I'd be scared to death now that Trump's going to win. So yes, they'd love to have that pick back. JD Vance is an utter fraud. And all he is kind of like another Trump MAGA guy. So it hurts Trump. There's been talk that Trump may even get rid of him, but he won't. Somehow Trump's going to have to overcome that because that was a really bad pick. JD Vance comes from middle America, but he's an utter fraud. He barely won in Ohio. He's a wealthy dude, a Yale University grad. Tim Walz is the real thing, the real deal. And so that contrast right now, look, what's weird is until Trump messed up and picked JD Vance, everything was going Donald Trump's way for a month and a half. If you and I were talking 3-4 weeks ago, I'd be in tears because I'd be really worried that Trump's going to win. It's been so weird. The last 19 days since he picked JD Vance, everything has gone against Trump. Now, there could be another turn, though. It just looks bad and creepy, weird, pathetic. But think about it. So Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have these big rallies with thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And there's JD Vance over in the corner somewhere with 3 or 4 reporters. So it looks pathetic. But like, where's Trump been? Donald Trump hasn't been campaigning this week. Rumor has it he's going to hold a press conference later on today down at Mar-a-Lago. But yeah, Trump hasn't been out there at all. I think it's a mess. I think the Trump campaign is like a mess right now. And it's in many ways, it's surprising. I mean, Trump's an idiot. So I get that he always figured I'm going to run against Biden. But the fact that his team didn't have a plan ready to go, knowing that Biden might step down, because you're right. It's been 19 days now of a campaign in utter disarray. Somehow they have to figure out how to turn this around because all the polling clearly shows momentum for Harris. And she hasn't even had her convention yet. She'll get a big bump out of her convention. Somehow Trump has to do something to try to stop that. Donald Trump is humanly incapable of empathy. He's humanly incapable of doing the right, smart, good thing. He's a bad, horrible person, and we like normalize him. Like there was an assassination attempt a month ago. Was that going to change him? He's incapable of change. So look, Trump and Republicans, and I say this as a former Republican, they still have a structural advantage. It's not the popular vote. The person that gets the most votes, as you know, in the United States of America doesn't become the president. We have this crazy thing called the Electoral College. Republicans have an advantage with that Electoral College. So Trump can win just in a few certain important states and still eke out an electoral college victory. They know that. Trump also has some advantages. Most Americans still trust Trump on the economy. Kamala Harris has had an amazing honeymoon, but it's been 18 days and she hasn't taken one question from the press in 18 days, not one. She hasn't taken one question from voters in 18 days. I don't think she can just honeymoon her way to this victory. She's going to have to take real questions because Trump will. Boy, he's got money troubles, and a lot of the money he raises goes to his legal defense. But that's not the reason he can't attract top level talent. He can't attract top level talent because of who he is. That went out the window years ago. So this time around, he's getting even nuttier of the nuts. Money or no money. Money, though, look, there'll be both sides will have plenty of money to run a campaign. The problem is Trump, he's not focused. And so every day, like you mentioned, he went to that conference of the black journalists a week or so ago. Great idea, go anywhere. But then he was Trump and he said offensive, racist things. Uh, he's not going to change. He'll have plenty of money. Somehow they have to score some points against her because she's just riding great momentum right now. It feels like, and again, I'm not a Democrat and I voted against Obama back in the day, but there's a chance this is like an Obama thing happening. The enthusiasm on the other side is off the charts right now.